Hello, angel babies. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Trisha, and this is Trisha's Temple. Today, we're going to look at your winter archetype and what magic is forming in the frost. So I brought 3 options for you to choose from. These are ornaments from my childhood. And let's look at your options. First, you have this horse carousel that has little wings. So I guess it's a Pegasus. Second, you have this little gingerbread person that's hand painted, has a little bow. And then your third option are these teddy bear twins all dressed up for a festive occasion. They're so cute. Make sure you can see them. So this reading is going to be a little bit different. So take all the time you need, and we'll get into the details once you choose your reading. See you there. Love you. Bye. Hello, Pile 1. If you chose this carousel horse, then this is your reading. First, we're going to meet your archetype and find out a little bit more about the symbolism and messages from your archetype. And then I chose specific decks for your group, and we'll kind of go based on some of the messages coming through from your archetype. So you chose the Dream Rider of Snowfall. This archetype symbolizes returning to wonder, cycles that are becoming like you're spiraling out of them. Instead of returning to the same things over and over again, you're returning to things with new perspective, new wisdom. This symbolizes reclaiming playfulness and a journey that comes full circle. Some of your messages are that you're visiting something from your past with new wisdom, a creative or emotional loop that is getting ready to shift into forward momentum, and your inner child wants movement, dancing, walking, creating, building. It's a season of going around again, but differently this time. So we're going to look at a couple of different questions. We're going to look at what dream or dreams keep circling back to you, and what this archetype has to say about that. And then what part of you is asking to be set free to play again. Woo! Okay. So first we have the 6 of Swords. Oh, I love the 6 of Swords. This is like such a nostalgic card because of the way that there's like this little teddy bear-esque creature on top. And I think that this part kind of looks like a memory or a creative inspiration floating up above. And you're moving on from the like storm-tossed sea into a place that feels more supportive of your creative dreams. Some of the dreams that you might be returning to could be things that you once found like super exciting when you were younger. Like you're pulling out, I mean, even like Christmas decorations or other decor of the season. You're rearranging furniture and finding little mementos or things that kind of like spark that little bit of inspiration in you. And it's like a reminder of something that you used to really care about and you used to like be moving towards. Like let's say that as a little kid you were really into doing magic tricks, and then one day you lift the couch cushions and you find like some old playing cards or like something from your old magic set that like reminds you, oh yeah, you know, I used to really love doing magic tricks. And that there might be little things in your external reality that are like these little nudges to you about what is on the inside, what has been wanting to wake back up, and the dream that won't die, I guess. Because I think that sometimes we have dreams that are meant to be there for a season and kind of be like a stepping stone to the next dream. And then there are things that continuously return, maybe in a new light, or they have like more, the word I'm thinking of is like zest to them. So, I mean, maybe you've wanted to be like some sort of like baker, chef or something, and they take on a little bit of a new form because of the stage that you are in your life. You know, like as a kid, we can think like, oh, I'm going to be a princess, or I'm going to be an alien or an astronaut or something that's like more mystical. And then you're finding ways that some of those original blueprint ideas that you had are actually coming to life for you now. We are going to come back around to that question, but let's look at what part of you is asking to be set free to play again. Three of Wands. What a beautiful card. The part of you that is asking to be set free and play again is the part of you that has been feeling like you're waiting for the right time for the circumstances you're in your life to be just right. It's a little bit of like that Goldilocks effect of not too hot, not too cold, but just right. Not too soft, not too hard, just right. And that you are finding ways to accommodate yourself or like bring more softness where there was too much intensity or rigidity, or vice versa. That like where there's too much chaos, you're bringing a little bit more ritual and routine. But you're allowing for more time that feels like recess. More time that feels like my brain doesn't have to work so hard, my body doesn't have to work so hard to just exist, to just be. and you're looking at times during your day, during your week, throughout your life, when you have felt the most free to play, to just exist, not have to police yourself, and soaking up what that would feel like and kind of like gathering that energy into yourself and finding ways to expand it into more areas of your life. It could be in the little things, like making your morning routine a little bit more playful, a little bit less like we have to go, 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 and it has to be so adult, so rigid, so intense. Or maybe you're adding a moment in your day where you get to just turn on some music that you love and dance. Because one of the things that your inner child was requesting through this archetype is more movement in some way. And maybe that is dance for you. Maybe it's some other type of intuitive movement, like just going on walks and looking around at the decorations that other people have put up, or looking at Christmas lights. You're finding little pockets of joy and seeing how those are then expanding into more play, more joy. All right, and then what magic is forming in the frost for you? Six of Pentacles. The magic that's forming right now in this wintry season is that you're really tuning into the who, the when, the where, the why, and the how of what you care about. That there might be little moments where you start to feel some discomfort arise around, like, hey, why was I doing it like this? Why was I expecting myself to spend so long at that party? Or why was I expecting myself to bake this many things or decorate this much, or whatever it is for you, and that this season you're getting super clear on where your energy goes, and it is really starting to become like this magical, like, awakening moment for you of like, oh, I actually don't have to do that, or I can do it like this instead, and it will feel so much more rejuvenating or fun. I don't have to play by the rules that were set up forever ago by some distant relative or some system that I used to be a part of. And you're creating your own magic by making up your own traditions, your own rituals, your own, realizing that life is your playground, that you are the magician. Okay, beautiful. We are actually going to use the Woodland Fairy Tail Tarot as our clarifying cards. All right, so in this season of going around again, but differently this time, what is it that you are seeing differently this time? Or how is it feeling different? What are those like aha moment type things that are happening for you? Ooh, the Queen of Wands. She's kind of a spooky Queen of Wands. Let me see. I don't think this is a frame. No. Not even close. Hang on, I'm gonna fix this. I actually think that me moving the frame and like rearranging things is a message in and of itself, and that beforehand I was doing a lot of rearranging things for this reading, and that in general I think that that's a huge message for you, that part of this going around again might involve you just like moving something to a different spot, whether that's like literally just like rearranging furniture, setting things up in a different way, or that more like figurative idea of, oh, like I took a different route this time and I saw things that I don't normally see, or I visited somebody I haven't seen in a while. Like that type of energy is really pertinent to this season of your life and what is being brought back to you, that maybe you did have some like, let's say you're going through a box of old stuff and you find pictures or mementos of some sort that kind of like have that little kind of just like spark something in you, and it takes you down memory lane, but you're realizing that you're in a different place than you were before, and how grateful you are for the journey that you've been on. And it's like you're sending love to the version of you that was in those pictures, or that made those mementos, or painted that craft or whatever. And in that process, it's like you're collecting, you're sending love and healing and softness to those old wounds, and moving on, it's like you're able to shut the door a little bit more, that it doesn't feel so much like it's going to creep up on you in the dark, or that at any moment some person or experience might trigger that wound in you, or that you won't be able to handle it if something does come your way that does bring up something from your past, because of the new wisdom that you've gained. You're realizing, you know what, like there's no such thing as me being perfectly healed, or I never completely get out of the spiral and away from that feeling, like the cycles of life. We always return to things. It's just with a different energy. And the Queen of Wands really has that like inner flame, and she does have a bit of that like shadowiness to her. This particular one, she's like the bone carver, the shadow alchemist, the person who knows what to do when something painful does arise, how to turn that into more fuel for your creative fire. Okay. And as you are beginning to play again and return to wonder, how are you finding that balance or rhythm with structure and chaos, ritual, routine? The Hanged Man, you know, this one's been coming around a lot lately. I think that there's an important message here about allowing it to be an unfoldment, a process of you meeting yourself piece by piece. That you might have some grand vision of how things are going to be. I'll give you an example. Let's say that you really love interior design and you have this vision for how you want your personal space to be. And that is just like this never-ending process, because you're always getting to know yourself and your personal style, and like maybe you're thrifting pieces or doing like a flip, like you find something and then you want to update it in some way, or maybe you rearrange things, or you get gifted something and then you find a place for it to live. That your external reality is a manifestation, or it's a reflection of your inner world, and each opportunity that comes along can do a little bit of that, like shaking things up, giving you a new perspective, allowing you to dive deeper into that self-awareness around, what do I want out of my personal space? What do I want out of my personal style? What do I want out of my relationships? What do I want out of my relationship with food or my career? And as much as we might pretend that we want things to be the same all the time, as soon as things are consistent and steady and the same day in and day out, we get a little bored, we get a little stir crazy, we want to switch things up. And sometimes we do that in ways that are less aligned with our values, more on the like self-destructive side. And sometimes we do that in ways that are more creative and expansive. And I think that you are finding ways that when you are needing more softness, more flow, more play, more freedom, that you ease up on some of the rigid rules that you might have for yourself. And then when you are feeling a little bit overwhelmed or like things aren't stable in your life, then you are able to lean on some of the rituals and routines and more consistent aspects of your life, whether that's your sleep pattern or certain relationships that you've built in your life, or even the space around you, that you've made it a comfortable, safe environment for yourself. That like, okay, like even if today was really hard at work, or I went to a family party that like I wish I wouldn't have stayed as long at, or maybe I didn't even need to go to it, at least I can go home and feel safe in my environment. Okay, let's look at one way that your personal magic is coming online, how this season is awakening that magic and you're becoming more aware of it. No, that wasn't it. It wanted to come and then it didn't. This is the one. Oh, the moon. Well, you're receiving an unexpected gift. The moon is revealing your magic for personal healing, as well as how that influences the collective. That even if you were not talking to anyone, even if you never shared what was going on inside of you, which I don't think that that's the case, your magic is happening all the time just through the way that you are transforming yourself and moving towards your dreams. That people can see you creating, dropping your mask. They can see you saying no to things that don't align with you and saying yes to things that do. And your magic is truly in how you have this like ripple effect just from your presence alone, not to mention when you do share the things that you create, whether that's something that you're already doing in little ways or on a larger scale. And I think that this season is helping you come to greater clarity on how you do the ways that you're already sharing your gifts, your magic with other people, and more of like the direction that you want to move in sharing yourself, sharing your inner world at a pace that like matches and honors your rhythm in a larger way. That you're going to do it in a way that feels like, yes, like this feels like me. This feels like something that I was always meant to do, or almost like I remember this feeling. And I think that you're going to have a lot more of those throughout this season of little tiny shifts that are happening where you start to feel even more at home inside your body, in your personal space, in your relationships. And it's allowing like this softening that although the world outside or the winter this season might feel a little bit chaotic, it might feel a little cold and like a time of hibernation, that it's like you're planting these really beautiful seeds under the surface that are going to be ready to bloom in your personal spring, whenever that happens to be. Thank you so much for being here. Those are the messages that I have for you today. If you have enjoyed, I would be so grateful if you would like, comment, or subscribe if you haven't already. Stick around for more and check out the links below if you're interested in a personal reading, working with me one-on-one. I also have a personal or a free resource that's a guide that I created of 7 principles that I've followed to help me in my creative process. So you can check that out below. Love you so much. Bye. Hello, pile 2. If you chose this little gingerbread person, then this is your reading. And your archetype is the hearth witch or the kitchen witch. If you don't resonate with being witchy, then you could also call this archetype the sweet maker, something along those lines. And this archetype represents nurturing, warmth, coziness. They form their identity a lot around caring for others and the crafts or like what they create. Very arts and craftsy. And they have a desire for safety and belonging, but not just for themselves, but providing that for other people. Some of your messages are from this archetype are you are repatterning your nervous system towards softness. Something in your life is asking to be held with gentleness. You may be redefining home, family, ritual, or tradition. So if that resonates with you, then this is your reading. If not, then you can definitely pick a different one. We are now going to look at a couple of questions. The first is, what are you ready to soften? What in your life has felt a little bit rigid or like it just wants a little bit more softness, a little more gentle? softness. I'm going to use the Everyday Witch Tarot. Ooh. Okay. We got two, actually. Got the Two of Wands and the Nine of Wands. Let me see if this is in frame. Yeah. Okay. So, for what you are softening right now, I think it's a pressure. Yeah, and it's like this pressure to, I heard the word like pressure cooker, like like you have to make a decision right now or else something bad is gonna happen, or just like that feeling like something is closing in around you if you don't make the decision. And it could feel like you only have two choices. It could feel like you have too many choices. But the pressure or the softness that is being called in or asking to be softened right now is that maybe it's okay to back off on whatever this decision is. It could be that when you're making decisions to like give a little bit of breathing room to this at this time and just allow yourself to go do something that feels nourishing or replenishing to your system. It could be something like taking a bath or reading a book that you've been dying to read or watching one of your favorite shows, like anything that feels that like cozy, warm, like it's gonna replenish your oxytocin. And that when you have replenished that store of warmth inside of you, when you have sat by your hearth, by your fire, that you will feel so much more at home in your body and not feel like you're so frazzled and have to make your decision entirely in your mind. Okay, the next question is, where have you been shaped by others instead of yourself? Oof, that's a good one. Ooh, you got two cards again. This Hearth Witch has got a lot to say to you. Okay, we got the Page of Cups and the Two of Swords. I need to get up here. I'm telling you this. I'm on a cushion on the floor right now. So I have to like completely get up to move these things. Yeah, the Page of Cups and the Two of Swords. You know, it's funny, you have the Two of Swords and the Two of Wands. I think that this energy might be coming a lot from systems, people who really shaped you, who put a lot of that type of pressure on you of you have to be a decisive person, or like if you're not being productive, if you're not moving forward in your life at a certain rate or in certain ways, then like what are you even doing? And so one of the big ways that you are learning to take off your blindfold and be more present and alive in your body, to be more in this Page of Cups energy that is very much like a I'm allowed to be a child. I'm allowed to just like throw paint at the canvas, to finger paint, to dance around silly to music, to sit by the fire and do absolutely nothing, like just stare at the flames and enjoy the ambiance. That I don't always have to be on or ready or have a 7-course meal prepared for whoever walks through the door type of energy. That while yes, like you value caring for people, you are a very considerate and thoughtful person, you're pouring more of that into yourself and nourishing that creative well. You're being able to recognize how systems from your childhood, whether that was like a religious upbringing or just family dynamics, even school systems, taught you that like you need to be perfect. Like when you're a kid and you would bring something up to the teacher and then they would constantly make a correction on even like your art project or the tiniest little imperfection in your handwriting. And now how does that then influence your desire to show up, or how are you expecting yourself to show up? I think that you in this season are realizing that you can value that like the feeling of community, the feeling of having a nice cozy home, the feeling of being a welcoming safe space for somebody, while also having really a healthy awareness of what belongs to someone else, what's their responsibility, and what is yours. One example that's coming to mind is like if you wanted to throw a party, you could invite people over, you could make it a fun occasion, but it didn't necessarily need to be this like as extravagant of an event as, and like some influencer that you follow who has like multiple vendors supporting them and setting up a lot of it, and you're finding ways to get help from the people in your life. Like maybe someone would want to make the cake, maybe somebody would want to help with the decorations, and you're softening a little bit around it needing to be so perfect, or allowing somebody else's creation into the mix and celebrating that, and how that is then nurturing you, nourishing you. Okay. Then, I actually want to get, before we go on, let's look at the magic that is coming to you, that is being uncovered in this frosty season is the King of Swords. And you know, that tracks really well with what we've been saying. I think it's a lot around boundaries, around you getting very good at communicating what you need, not only for yourself, like it might even be in moments where you are completely alone and you stop for a minute and you say, what do I need right now? Do I need a little break to go outside and get some sunshine? Do I need some food? Do I need a little rest? A little lie down? Do I need some creative expression? Maybe that's you like to write in your journal. Maybe you like to do a little sketching, something like that. And tuning in more and more to those needs and honoring them. And then the more that you're doing that, the more trust you're building with that process, the more you're able to then communicate those to other people. What those people want from you. What do you want from me? That's a great song. Maybe there's a message for you there. All right, the next question is, in your repatterning your nervous system, what is your nervous system craving right now? Cup of tea, patience, and reassessment. You know, we are hearing a lot of the same things in this reading. But I think it's okay for you to just pause and have a little cup of tea. That if you feel like you're in a rush, if you feel like somebody's putting pressure on you to, you know, help you with something or to get something done, like let's say that you're in the middle of a big project for work or at your house, that it can sometimes feel like, oh, like I have to get this completely done before I can relax. Or if I don't finish all of these errands today, then like I'm a failure. And what your nervous system is saying to you is, if you allow more of this softness throughout your entire day, especially like dedicated moments for stillness, for your personal rituals, then everything else that you feel like you need to do or even want to do is going to come with greater ease and alignment, because your nervous system is on board, that it doesn't feel like you're having so much tug of war going on, and you can just glide on by. And like, of course, it might feel like there are little moments where it's like, okay, have we had enough? Have we had enough tea? Have we had enough sleep? Have we had enough? You know, like you're kind of babying yourself a little bit. You can get a little impatient with that. But I think that you're finding that as you are incorporating these things into your life more often, more regularly, your body is responding like, oh, this is going to be a regular thing. I don't have to be so on edge or tightly wound. I can soften more. I can enjoy this moment. And it is safe to enjoy it. In what ways are you redefining home, family, ritual, or tradition? Let's see. Sage, wisdom, purification, and harmony. Okay. So this could look a couple of different ways. This could look like returning to people, relationships, traditions with your personal wisdom and kind of giving them a new flavor or like your own spin on things. That it's like you're out with the old, in with the new. And cleansing the part of the rituals, of the traditions, of the even like relationships that were harmful. You may have even done a lot of that already, and now you're getting more settled into the wisdom aspect of it. So what I mean by that is, it's like there's this old wise grandmother sitting in her rocking chair, and you go up to her and she's telling you her story of how she was raised and how things used to be done in her time, and you know, like the way that she loves certain things and hates other things, you know, like she's just telling her story. And what may in the past have been really triggering or uncomfortable or felt like a lot of projection, which could be, you could have people in your life who project a lot onto you. Very, very possible. I think that it's almost like it doesn't hit you in the same way. That, like, if they are offended by you saying no, or if they really want to do it this certain way, but that doesn't work for your energetic system in some way, like you are just more willing to be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it like this. This is me, that can be you over there. And we can live in harmony if you are up to it. Or if not, like you can do your thing and I'll do my thing, and that's great. It doesn't have to be so muddled, so mixed up with codependency or being really personal. Like, oh, it's because of me that they can't do what they want to do, or it's because of so-and-so in my family that I have to do this thing, that you're like, yeah, no, I actually don't have to do that. I'm going to do it the way that I want to do it. and nobody else has to do it that way, but that's how like me and my little chosen family are going to do things, because we've decided that that works for us. And that I think that you're finding that there are actually more people from your past life, from maybe your family of origin, maybe old friendships, that have gotten softer as you have gotten harder. If that makes sense. It's like as you have, your boundaries have gotten more firm, more clear, more consistent, the people in your life that used to put up a fight, perhaps, or it used to seem like everything was dictated by them, they're almost like looking to you for what's going to happen, because they're respecting you more. And if that part doesn't resonate and you're moving on to just completely a chosen family without anyone from your family of origin, then I think that it's going to still feel a bit like that. Like, people really respect your input. They really value what you have and how you share your insights, that you have this like gravitational pull about you that people just follow. Not in like a we bow down to you type of a way, but it just in a they admire you, they respect you, they treat you as someone with wisdom. Okay, and then the last question is, how is your personal magic coming to life through this archetype? Oh, interesting. Okay. We have autumn, bounty, balance, and soil, stability, and simplicity. So the first card that you got for your magic, or what magic is coming forward, is the King of Swords. And now this is how that magic is unfolding for you through your archetype. So I think that this has been something, this type of magic has been really solidifying for you, probably like since the fall, since the autumn time. And like that, the cycle that you're in right now is going to kind of come to its full resolution by the end of winter, whatever that personal winter looks like for you. And you're going to notice that these boundaries, this way of meeting your own needs, getting to know your own needs, and then communicating them clearly to others is like this fresh soil, this new foundation that you have planted yourself in to grow a whole new system. And that could look like a whole bunch of different things. It could look like the way that your relationships are evolving. It can look like how things are transforming for you in like your creative pursuits, especially. And in each facet of your life, things are just like blooming and feeling more like home, feeling more like yes, like I want this, I want to be here. And there might be little moments where you're like, oh, there are things that I still want to change, or how things will eventually evolve for me. And you have that awareness, but it's not such a heavy pressure as before. That what's really evolving for you in your personal magic is feeling like you're able to appreciate where you are, and that like you carry that sense of home within your body. That no matter if you are at Disneyland or at the grocery store or at the car wash or anywhere, your own home, you will have that inner sense of home because you have been cultivating it within yourself. And then more and more, it is being reflected to you externally. You're refining these little details, but they don't feel so urgent anymore. It feels more like fun, like play, like, oh yeah, like I noticed this thing over here that I have, like this vase, or my car, or like, whatever it is that for you personally, like, I think that I could upgrade that or make it feel a little bit more in alignment with myself. But this stage, this version of me is still at home right here. I don't have to, I'm not running anymore. There's nowhere for me to escape. And it's kind of taking me back to this, of whatever systems that you were in before really taught you that you needed to prove yourself, prove your worth, prove that you were smart, capable, and had all of these things on the surface externally. And you've been doing so much work internally to finally accept that there's never such a moment as having it all, or reaching all of your dreams, because you will always have more, and you're feeling more at peace with right now. Enjoying even moments of where things feel like they're getting flipped upside down for a minute, because you know that the wheel will be turned the other way again. You know how your seasons go. And it's okay with you to experience all of them. So those are the messages that I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. I've loved doing this reading for you. If you have enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe if you would like to stick around. Check out the links below if you're interested in a personal reading, one-on-one mentorship to work with me on your creative journey. I also have a free resource available that includes 7 principles that I follow to help me with my creative process. And I'll see you in the next one. Love you. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose these teddy bear twins, then this is your reading. First, we're gonna learn about your archetype and the symbols, oh, excuse me, I'm burping a lot. Your archetype has a lot to say. And messages, and then we'll get into some questions. Okay, so your archetype is the Yuletide kindred. And this symbolizes friendship, chosen family, innocence and celebration, and relational repair. Some of your messages are: you are attracting emotionally safe people. Your attachment and relationship patterns are shifting towards more security and interdependence. A friendship or partnership is ready for deeper vulnerability. You are learning to let yourself be loved in small, steady ways. And now we're gonna get into the questions. So the first question is, who feels safe to you right now? What people in your life feel like safe, chosen family? Whether they were your family of origin, biological, adopted, people you found along the way. And then we're gonna look at what relationships are asking to be nurtured. Who feels safe to pile 3, group 3 right now? Okay, we have, I'm gonna put this guys over here. Longing. Oh no. And then we have trust. So, the people that feel safe to you right now are the people who, so when I hear the word longing, when you long for something, when you like that feels like you don't have it. It feels like it's outside of you and you're reaching for it in some way, which isn't always a bad thing. I think it's okay to have things that are a desire, a hope, a dream. But I think that what you're shifting, or who feels safe for you right now, are the people that really nurture your inner flame, that inner desire, that inner spark, that they don't run away from your passion. They're not creating more of that like push and pull dynamic in your life. The feeling like you need to prove yourself or be on whatever they're ready or available for you, and then the trail goes cold sometimes. That the people who are in your life and feel really safe to you are going to be the people that are just like this steady heartbeat. That they tend to have more consistent, more regulated responses to things. Of course, they won't be perfect, but it's like when you share something vulnerable, when you share your own emotional disruption, like you're feeling dysregulated in some way, that perhaps they aren't regulating you for you, but they are regulating with you. It's like when a baby, you hold a baby, a new baby, and just the parent's heartbeat or just the caregiver's heartbeat can be so soothing to the baby. Just that gentle swaying back and forth. Just the parent's own regulated system can help regulate the baby. And that is how you are feeling in your safe relationships, is that the other people, you don't feel like you're responsible for them to make sure that they are regulated, make sure that they are like, you don't have to walk on eggshells. These people make it easier to breathe deeply, to express, to expand, to create. And it is building more self-trust, more trust. Ooh, they're reflecting back to you who you are in a much more honest way than you maybe have experienced in past relationships. It's like if you were to look in a mirror, an unhealthy or toxic, codependent, just a relationship that demands a lot of you, they could reflect back you looking like you had purple skin and a yellow nose and eyebrows, and then you had green hair, and that would be a little bit disconcerting when you looked in the mirror because you didn't do all those things to yourself. You didn't dye your hair green. You didn't paint your skin purple with a yellow nose and yellow eyebrows. So why do you look like that? That's confusing. Is that really what you look like? So then you go around and you look in another mirror, and that mirror is also not showing you as you really are, and it's showing you a different reflection. And then the next one, and maybe some of them have some similarities and you start trying to like piece it together. But in these safe relationships, they're showing you a lot more consistently more of who you actually are instead of what they're projecting onto you. Of course, there will still be moments of projection because we are human. But they're going to be more likely to take accountability for it. They're going to want to deepen that trust with you by having the more challenging conversations that inevitably bring you together. They're going to allow space when you need space and honor closeness and connection. That there will be that natural rhythm that gets built in of closeness and independence. So, what relationships are asking to be nurtured right now? Oh. Very helpful. Connection. Well, this kind of goes along with what I was saying about like people who reflect you back to you, people who have similar values, they just like vibe at the same frequency as you. And that the relationships that are really asking to be nurtured right now in your life are the ones that might feel like they have a lot of potential. They have a lot of opportunity for you to connect more deeply. And both of you are putting in the effort, but it might just feel like a little bit of a slow burn. It might feel like, one friend texts and then a few days later, the next one texts, but nobody's really asking the other one if they want to hang out because they're nervous for the rejection. But both of you clearly are showing signs of interest in this relationship. You're both reciprocating. So it might be something like that. It could also be like that you have some sort of group or community that you're a part of, like maybe some sort of like at the gym or some other like exercise group. Maybe you do Pilates or yoga. And then you could nurture a relationship that you've been building there that just hasn't gone outside of that group. You could just take that first little step towards inviting somebody to go get a coffee or, go to some thing that you're looking forward to this season. That you've already started to kindle, or like the flame is already starting in some of these relationships. You're already seeing the possibility of where things could go, but it's requiring that you take a little leap of faith or a little step outside your comfort zone to get to know this person more. Maybe this is about like having a certain conversation with somebody that you have a deeper connection with, like a family member or a romantic partner, and looking and saying, you know what, like I've been kind of avoiding this conversation that I know I've needed to have for a while, but I think that if I had it, we would actually grow closer together. It would help the like little tiny rift that's been growing between us, whether that's just because, you know, you've been missing each other or you haven't been having as many heart-to-heart conversations lately, or if it is something that it was like, you know, that actually kind of hurt and I'd like to talk about it before resentment builds. Okay, let's look at ways that you are opening yourself up to receive more love this season. Oh, this is the one. Interesting. Okay, 10 of Swords. All right, I need to get up here and fix this. I am on a cushion on the floor. This is my current setup while I'm in the moving process. And it requires a bit more finagling. Okay. Can you see this? I think so. All right, the 10 of Swords is showing that the way that you're opening up to receive more love this season is by realizing that those wounds, those stabs in the back, those things that have hurt you are not happening right now. They already happened. They happened in the past. It's over now. And it's okay for you to still feel the residual effects. You don't have to ignore that. You don't have to pretend that it didn't happen, because it did. But instead of it becoming your identity, which I don't think that you're somebody who's like made an identity out of the worst things that have happened to you, the worst things you've experienced, but I think that what you're learning to do now is treat these wounds as, it's like, there's this really cheesy quote that's something like, oh, like a broken heart is like opens your heart for more love to be poured into, something like that. And I think that it's actually really true that when you experience a lot of wounding in your life, emotional wounding, heartbreak, trauma, whatever, that it does soften you in a way that allows you to reshape yourself. It allows you to mold yourself into somebody who does allow more love in, who does see how other people have been hurt. And I think that some people go towards like bitterness and like, I'm gonna like close my heart off so that nothing can ever hurt me again. And you realized that that road doesn't work, because if I do that, then I can't even access my own heart. If no one can, then I can't even access it, and then I'm not experiencing one of the very best parts of life. And you're creating a way for these wounds to become like your, I don't want to say armor, because that feels like you're needing to defend yourself, but like your battle vestment is what came to mind. Like what you would wear as like a warrior princess or a warrior heroine, warrior person, and like just like this glory. I'm like visualizing you like kind of glowing, and instead of things affecting you in the same way that they did, it's like your superpower now is the way that you illuminate the things around you, the way that you do trust yourself so much to meet a challenge head on and know, okay, if this thing were to be troubling to me, I would know how to face it because I've experienced way worse. Or I know how to resource very well. It's like when someone who has a lot of trauma then turns that into like their, like, this is a heartbreaking example, but like if someone's child died from like a terminal illness or in some other horrific way, and then they go ahead and make like a foundation or some way to honor their child and like use that grief to heal more people, allow for some good to come of it. And it doesn't make the death of their child go away, but it allows them to expand their world instead of staying instead of keeping the grief inside of themselves. The grief gets to live, to breathe, to move through them. Yeah. Next question is, what is the magic that is unfolding, that is, what's the way that I just said it? Is forming in the frost? What magic are you going to be experiencing this season? Okay, the Fool. Whoa. And the Four of Cups. So this is going to be like the magic that you're experiencing and how that magic is manifesting through this archetype. The magic that you're experiencing this winter is one of unbecoming, one of becoming the person who feels fresh and new, feels like anything is possible. You're going to get reacquainted with your spark, the things that light you up, the things that get your creative juices flowing. This might be through little moments of ritual time that you're setting aside for yourself. Water might be significant, mountains, something around like, I mean, even mushrooms. Used at your own discretion. That you're finding this like little pathway that's opening up to you that maybe you thought wasn't possible. Maybe you thought was closed forever. And then something comes your way that's like some opportunity, some invitation, some sort of a gift in the mail or something like that. And all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I thought that thing, that experience wasn't going to be possible for me. But now I think it might be. Now I think, so you're saying there's a chance. And that like this little spark that's lit, this little burst of excitement that you're feeling is kind of having this cumulative effect. It's like reverberating from the center, expanding from the center. And the moment that you have that little moment, the moment that you have that moment, when you experience that catalyzing event, then there are more and more things that are like, yes, this, yes, this, and you're making connections that allow you to take the first leap, and then the next one, and then the next one. And this could look like so many different things for you. it's feeling to me like an old passion project, or maybe even like a relationship that you had forgotten about. Like maybe you receive like a Christmas, what are those called, like a holiday, like when people a holiday card in the mail, and you're like, oh yeah, like I used to be close with this person or whatever. And something about that, something about receiving that thing in the mail, or having that sort of like just little moment of connection. Maybe you're even like running into somebody at the mall, or while you're out doing errands, and it kind of has this, it takes you into a moment of reflection and nostalgia, and like on a train of thought that you may not have otherwise gone down if you hadn't run into that person. And it helps you to recall something that you used to be really passionate about, that like maybe this is a silly example, like maybe when you were a little kid, you were friends with somebody, and the two of you used to like make silly little videos together about frogs. This is a very specific example. And because of you running into this person who reminded you that you like to make videos about frogs, you're like, oh yeah, you know what? I actually used to be like really into like amphibians and stuff. So then you go to the library and get some books about that, and it just kind of has this like trickle down effect, this chain reaction. And yours could be completely different chain reaction than that, but you get the drift. You catch my drift. And as for how this is, like, your personal magic is going to be experienced through this archetype of the Yuletide kindred. Yule is like the winter solstice. And I think that this archetype is really reminding you or encouraging you to find moments of celebration in little things that maybe you are somebody who can be a little bit, I don't want to say stingy, but like, I feel like you have to wait around to celebrate at the right moments, or that you can only give gifts to people at this time or in this certain way. I don't know, like something about that you're kind of easing up on how you go about giving and receiving love in celebration. That maybe you used to be somebody who felt like you needed to give a gift to every single person you've ever known. And now you're realizing, you know what, like I actually just want to do gifts for these few people that I actually have a close connection with. Or Maybe you're realizing that the past few years you haven't done gifts, and you want to get creative with the way that you spread love this holiday season. Maybe you're somebody who is not big on I think the main message of this card is that you are doing a little bit of a switcheroo, or maybe a little role reversal of maybe you've always been like the really domestic homemakery type who like did a lot of handmade things, did a lot of home baked goods, a lot of everybody's invited over to my house and we're gonna have this very immaculately decorated space or whatever. And that maybe you're scaling back a little bit to preserve your own well-being, but like celebrating in smaller ways. Like, you know what? This moment of drinking my hot chocolate by the window, by the fireplace, underneath my blanket, reading my book, whatever it is that feels cozy and comforting to you, like this is a moment of celebration. Or like, I'm gonna put on my holiday pajamas and pick out a movie, and like just really embracing that feeling that there can be more moments of ritual and celebration woven into your season, and that's really bringing the magic alive even more for you. That maybe that's something that you have always done to some extent, but either you hadn't felt like you could do as much lately or has just shifted in some way. And now you're giving more energy to those little moments instead of feeling like it has to all go towards big events or the regularly subscribed version of the holiday. Like, okay, not everything has to happen on the day of the holiday or whatever. So yeah, I think you're just finding more moments of connection and celebration. I think there's one more card who wants to come through about what this type of celebration is looking like for you. How you're bringing the magic into your celebrations. Champion of Cups or Knight of Cups. Yeah, it's like, I'll bring all the like warm and fuzzy feelings to the event. That maybe you put a lot of pressure on yourself to bring gifts and goodies and have an immaculately decorated space or whatever external representation of celebration meant to you, but you're realizing that it's more of a feeling, it's more of an energy, and that some of the coziest, most magical moments that you've experienced in your life have been just little things like getting blankets and driving around looking at lights, or the experience of watching the snow fall out your window when you're all bundled up. That it doesn't have to be too big, and that you're inviting that feeling, that warmth back into your life, and that is going to expand into the way that you're connecting with other people as well, connecting with the people closest to you and the people that are just the relationships that are just starting to form. So those are the messages that I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. I've loved doing this reading. If you have enjoyed, I would be so grateful if you would like, comment, subscribe if you'd like to stick around. Check out the links below. I have a free resource that includes 7 principles that I use for my own creative process, as well as personal readings and one-on-one mentorship with me, where we will just be collaborators, co-creators, and work together on whatever it is that you are wanting to create. Thanks so much. Love you. Bye.